This season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has mainly favoured the 4-2-3-1 for his Manchester United side, and the main area for upgrade is a true defensive midfielder. But depth could also be added in the forward positions at right back and at centre back. So with that considered, who should United target in January? Number 1, Manuel Locatelli. Whilst the club has got a number of quality midfielders in the squad, Nemanja Matic is the only true defensive midfielder, so a long-term replacement is a priority. A player available immediately who could transition into the side by the end of the season is Manuel Locatelli. The former AC Milan youngster has been developing his game at Sassuolo and become one of the best defensive midfielders in Serie A. Operating from the left-hand side of double pivot, Locatelli is the side's controller and he's often the deepest of the midfielders. He makes Sassuolo tick with his quick 1- and 2-touch play out of the back, always happy to receive even when under pressure and with his back to goal. He's supremely composed in possession. He's got that stature of a world-class talent in that he always seems to have time on the ball. He orchestrates Sassuolo's build-up, always making himself available, often asking for the ball when surrounded by opposition players to try and create holes. Then when a progressive pass is on, he flips the tempo and kick-starts attacks. Unsurprisingly, Locatelli has completed more passes than any other player in Serie A, with him making the third most progressive passes in the competition as well. He's a very Italian defensive midfielder and everything about his play is controlled. If he's pressured, he's happy to escape with a dribble, but he's always looking to progress the play with passes. He doesn't tend to look for booming long passes, instead keeping his passes short and crisp. However, when Locatelli does play long, there's real guile about his passes. Take Traore's goal against Napoli last season. Boga in possession but surrounded by 3 Napoli players. He looks to create a yard but then is forced back to the left back who goes inside to Locatelli. The Italian then whips it to the back post for Traore to stab home. This goal sort of comes from nothing, with Locatelli taking just one touch and then sending it across so early that he nearly catches Traore offside. Then the delivery is just perfect for the youngster to finish. Without the ball, Locatelli shines as well. He's won possession through tackles and interceptions more times than any other player in Serie A this season. So you're not getting a defensive liability. He'd be ideal to occupy a defensive midfield role for Manchester United. His preference to sit in front of the defence in possession and occasionally get forward would offer great balance to United's midfield. There are question marks over his ability in the air, given that he's just won 46% of his aerial duels across his career, so playing in front of Harry Maguire should see him rarely challenge for these, whilst the energy and tenacity that he's shown for Sassuolo would see him adapt well to life in the Premier League. He's reportedly available for €25 million in the summer, and just at 22, that seems like a long-term bargain. Number 2, Nassir Masrowi. At right back, Manchester United only really have Aaron Wan-Bissaka as a first-team option, and considering he's been played non-stop since signing for United, with the only outfielder to play more minutes than Wan-Bissaka in that period being Harry Maguire, it'd be good to be able to rotate him or even bring in a player to compete with that starting position. Whilst Max Aarons has been linked recently and is an excellent talent, he's at a similar age to Wan-Bissaka, and they would probably develop into the same kind of attacking fullback, whilst one could halt the development of the other. Signing Aarons could also prevent the likes of Ethan Laird breaking into the first team in the future. Who I'd like to see United go for is Masrowi. The Ajax right back is a very technical footballer, is more of an inverted fullback. With experience playing all over the pitch for the Amsterdam club, he's become a very rounded player. Unlike Aarons, Masrowi would be a very different fullback to Wan-Bissaka. He's basically a central midfielder in that position, with great technical ability and a fantastic passing range. What we're currently seeing from the top sides is the need for progression from fullbacks, as this is the least congested area of the pitch, thus players have more time on the ball to pick progressive passes. This new role in the game demands a high level of technical quality, and it could be why we're seeing more academy central midfielders playing at fullback. Take the 2 best right backs in the world, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Joshua Kimmich, with the latter moving back into central midfield this season to devastating effect. Masrowi could be on a similar trajectory, albeit at a lower level. This season, Ajax have continued with their 4-2-1-3 under Erik ten Hag, with the right-hand side looking the most dangerous, with Masrowi as an inverted wing-back, playing behind Antony, a left-footed right winger. He generally takes up an inverted position, which allows Antony ahead of him to play wide and creates 1v1s with the opposition fullback, whilst Masrowi can make excellent underlaps supporting the movement, either taking the opponents with him or receiving the ball like he did against PSV. Gravenberch in possession on the left-hand side. He switches it out to Antony, who has a 1v1 with the opposition fullback. The Brazilian waits for Masrowi's underlap and plays him in. The Moroccan then skips past one challenge, shimmies past another, and then puts it back to Proms, who can't finish. This is an excellent bit of play from the right back, and it deserved a goal after it. First, when Gravenberch has the ball, you can see Masrowi's inverted position, basically playing as an extra central midfielder. Then, when the switch comes, he immediately attacks the space once Antony has controlled it. Good intelligence not to get caught on the counter. And lastly, the technique to completely bamboozle two defenders and pick out a teammate is world-class wing play. For Manchester United, Masrowi could strike up a similar partnership with new signing Amad Diallo, a left-footed right winger like Antony. Also, his excellent passing ability could help United build from the back, because, as we mentioned, it's basically having a central midfielder operating at right back. What's more is that his versatility could cover a number of positions for Solskjaer, and he could even be providing a solution at defensive midfield. In the summer, Ajax reportedly only wanted €10 million for the player, which is a steal, especially for a full international with Champions League experience. Number 3, David Carmo. The arrival of Harry Maguire last season transformed United's defence, and he formed a good partnership with Victor Lindelof. But an ongoing back injury opened the door for Eric Bailly. In their short spell together, the duo have shown some signs of a good partnership blossoming. So when we're looking at depth, we're not looking at a starting centre-half in January, especially considering Upamecano's release clause comes into effect in the summer. Instead, we're looking for talented youngsters under 21 that profile like Virgil van Dijk, a commanding ball player who won't break the bank. Alessandro Bastoni looks like a future great, but would cost a fortune. Ozan Kabak looks like a talent, but Schalke as a whole have struggled this season. And Kabak could be even cheaper if they get relegated, which looks likely considering they've just picked up 0.5 points per game in the Bundesliga this season. Sven Botman draws comparisons with compatriot Virgil van Dijk after arriving in Lille from Ajax in the summer, but he's unlikely to move again in January. So for a centre-back available in January, look no further than Braga's David Carmo. Since making his debut last January, the 21-year-old has cemented himself into the starting 11. In fact, since his first start in February 2020, Carmo has started every league game that he's been available for. He's a modern-day ball-playing centre-back with experience playing in both a back three and a back four. The Braga man is very composed in possession and is happy to play short passes out the back, especially to the left back. But he's always looking for the long pass as well, either switching out to the right-hand side or going direct to the striker with a clip ball. Carmo is clearly a very technical player. He's been deployed as a sweeper in a back three, and his passes always seem to have zip on them. But his long passes into space are the most impressive, with Carmo hitting them with both pace to catch out the opponent, but also the right weight so the ball doesn't go out of play. And this technical ability doesn't come at a cost of defensive ability either. Carmo is a physical monster, standing at over 6'5". The youngster has the ability to dominate aerially and bully opposition strikers physically. When it comes to regaining possession, he's aggressive in the challenge, which can see him win tackles well. He's got an impressive 79% tackle win rate across his entire career. However, his aggression can see him overcommit and get bypassed or give away fouls. In fact, last season at youth level saw him pick up 13 yellow cards, whilst this season he's been sent off twice in just 7 games. But if he can mature and iron out his disciplinary issues and can learn from his mistakes, he could go to the very top. He's good at defending the near post, which is a skill that separates good centre-halves from the very best. And on top of that, he judges the flight of the ball well. He combines this with a height to dominate aerially and clear crosses for his side. In fact, in the Europa League and League NOS this season, he's won 79% of his aerial duels, which is better than any Manchester United player. He's an ideal long-term partner to Harry Maguire. Not only is he left-footed, fairly quick and technical, exactly what Solskjaer was looking for in the summer, but David Carmo won't be dominated in the Premier League physically. For Braga this season, Carmo averages 9 defensive challenges per game, only fewer than Fred and Maguire. But Carmo's 72% win rate is better than any Manchester United player. He'd also slot into United's system, which is very similar to Braga's. Both sides defend set pieces zonally, whilst they build out of the back, they look to do so in a 3-1 shape. Looking to the future, another centre-back that has been dominant at youth level is Tegan Mengi. The 18-year-old academy graduate could form a dominating partnership with Carmo and provide a defensive base for United for years to come. Number 4, Michael Alysse. United are always in need of young, talented attackers, and Michael Alysse is definitely one to watch. The 19-year-old is currently the top assister in the Championship this season and would be a shrewd acquisition to add depth to United's squad. The Championship has been a proven breeding ground for talented young players in recent years, the likes of Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham and Reece James. all who are key components of the current Chelsea squad shone in the Championship on loan. Whilst very talented attackers learned their craft there, I'm talking the likes of Maddison, Buendia, Eze and Grealish, and Alysse looks like he's the latest to emerge from the competition. He started the season from the right flank, but has played all across the line, even playing in Reading's double pivot. When he's played on the left, he operates like an old school winger, where his first thought is to receive wide and whip it across for his teammates. Whilst a little bit more dynamic on the right, he's got the option to cut in and shoot, as you'd expect an inverted winger to do so, but also he's got the ability to operate in the hole as a side's playmaker. When he gets into this area, either moving into it or starting at number 10, he comes alive. He's composed on the ball and has got quick feet, but also the vision to spot an eye-of-the-needle pass. Alysse looks like a wonderful talent, not just because of his technical ability, but because of his mental skills. He's very aware in the final third, which can see him keep his cool and make good decisions. Take the chance he created against Colchester, Reading on the attack with Richards. He passes it to Alysse, who plays a 1-2 with Melvin Lambert, before his shot is blocked and he regains possession. Now, after having a shot blocked, most players would either look to get another shot off, maybe play backwards, maybe work it wide, but he doesn't do any of these things. Instead, splitting Colchester's defence and putting the striker through 1v1 with the keeper, which he misses. A really impressive bit of skill from the youngster. Another string to his bow, he's got really dangerous delivery from set pieces, sending in crosses with whip and dip to great effect. He's registered more assists from set pieces than any other player in the Championship this season. However, he can overcomplicate things, win on the dribble and try to beat one man too many. But that kind of decision making is expected of a young player, and I suspect he'll have it kicked out of him shortly. He's been fouled more times than any other Reading player this season, although this only gives him more opportunities to deliver from dead ball situations. He'd be a shrewd signing and add depth to Solskjaer's squad, with him able to provide cover for every forward position behind the striker, as he's got a fair amount of first team experience in each position. He's also a distinctively different kind of player to anyone in United's first team, a mobile playmaker or creator that looks to make things happen with carries and threaded passes. Reportedly available for just £8 million due to a release clause, Alysse would be a cheap way to add a very talented forward into the fold. And number 5, Brenner. Anthony Martial really stepped up last season, but he's not really a lone forward, maybe better suited to a split striking role or as an inside forward. And as well as Edison Cavani is slotted into the side, he turns 34 next month and can't be expected to lead the line forever. The ideal candidate to spearhead United's attack, of course, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The Everton man is a complete forward and has improved so much under Carlo Ancelotti. However, the Blues aren't going to part with Calvert-Lewin for cheap, and they're definitely not going to sell him in January. Who United should make a move for is Brenner. The Brazilian has been lighting it up in Sao Paulo over the last 12 months and finished the last Brazilian season with 20 goals in just 32 appearances. Brenner is a modern poacher. Whilst he does drop off the line or move wide to get touch of the ball, it's not frequent and he generally only sees possession around the penalty area, where he can receive in shooting positions. Whilst his Sao Paulo teammates do play up to him, he's not a strong back-to-goal striker. Instead, he looks to either move it on quickly or try and turn and face. The 20-year-old has got really good feet that help him in these situations, but he's not a dribbling Brazilian. In the final third, he's remarkably simple in possession, and that's not a bad thing. Where he does pick it up, he's always thinking about how he can quickly get into a goal-scoring position. Often, if there's multiple forwards near to him, he'll play it sideways and quickly make a dart towards goal so he's ready to be slipped in. What's impressive about him, though, is that if the pass doesn't come, he doesn't linger in an offside position. Instead, he stops and quickly gets himself onside quickly. And these are the goal-scoring instincts that saw him score so many goals last season. So many of his goals came from deflected crosses or saved shots that he reacted first to. Take his goal in the 4-1 win over Flamengo. Gomez in possession. He plays it to Brenner, who moves it on to Gabriel. The winger comes inside and plays it wide to Ronaldo to cross, which is deflected into the path of Brenner to finish. This was a clinical forwards goal. After making the initial dart for the underlap, he quickly moves centrally to an onside position, but with the eyes on the ball, so that when the cross comes in and gets a deflection rather than being flat-footed like everyone else, Brenner is on the move, and with his eyes on the ball, so reacts first and smashes it past the keeper on the half volley. Statistically, you can immediately understand his style of play. Per 90 in the 2020 Brazilian Serie A, Brenner averaged 18 passes, 0.9 dribbles, 0.6 key passes, but 3.7 shots, with 78% of them coming from inside the penalty area, which shows how he doesn't really get involved in the build-up, but outputs a large number of high-quality shots, which leads to him scoring 0.73 goals per 90 last season. He can make a great addition to Manchester United. A striker that's born to score goals is something you can't have too much of, and United have been fairly wasteful this season, both missing chances and not being in the right position to score. Brenner could change this, and at just 20 years old, he'd have plenty of time to phase Cavani out of the team before stepping up and becoming Solskjaer's poacher. But anyway guys, what do you think? Who do you think United should sign in the January transfer window? Let me know in the comments below, subscribe if you're new, and like that goddamn video. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not check out some more content on the Statman Dave YouTube channel.